Wrapped up week one of my Ironman training program, a 14-week build up to race day, which is coming up on November the 5th, 2022 in Panama City, Florida. It is 90 days away as I record this today, the Sunday of my first week of full training for Ironman Florida. It was a big week. I got a lot of volume in. It was like 14 hours and 42 minutes, including the strength training sessions. I got my 2 strength training sessions in. A lot of volume. There was some intensity, but not too much, right? The most important thing that I want to make sure to do is to keep my energy high throughout this process, avoid systemic global fatigue that can easily set in when training at a volume like this, right? Because the most important thing for me is to show up on race day feeling as good as I can. I want to get as much preparation in as I can, but I want to be as energetic and feeling as good as I can on race day, because that's what's going to lead to the best race performance. It's not about how many hours I put in now or how many miles I cover now. It's about on race day how quickly I'm able to get through the course of the Ironman, the 2.4 mile swim, the 112 mile bike ride, and the 26.2 mile run. It's going to be a big challenge, but I'm working up to it intelligently. I swam almost 9,000 meters this week. It was 88:55. So that's a good week of swimming. I got into the ocean twice, which was awesome. Both times the ocean conditions were really challenging. Probably would have been canceled if there were any races in those kind of conditions. The lifeguards had the red flag up for high hazard both days. But, I was out there able to challenge myself in some really hard ocean conditions. I have a lot of comfort swimming in the ocean. I'm not new at it. But being out there, having to do 2.4 miles in the Gulf of Mexico, I know from seeing race reports of last year's Ironman Florida race that the swim was a real challenge with the water conditions, and you never know what it's going to be like. So I want to make sure that I'm ready, not just physically, but mentally to handle some pretty crazy water conditions in the Gulf of Mexico on that day. So I'm going to try to get into the ocean for at least one session every week leading up to that. I got in twice this week. I didn't get a whole lot of great long sessions in just because the conditions made it a big challenge out there, but I got some good time in the water. I hit 3 pool sessions also on top of that. I rode about almost 6 hours this week, Zwift and outside combination, about 95 miles or so, give or take. It's hard to tell with Zwift miles. They don't necessarily translate to real miles. But feel pretty good on there. I got some intense intervals on the bike trainer. Did some intervals outside as well. Also leveraging the bike for recovery, right? So after tough training days, follow that up with a bike session with a lot of zone 1, a lot of easy work, right, to leverage the bike as a recovery tool, but also get some training adaptations, right, get some more time in the saddle, all that stuff. It's great, and that's a great way to recover. So I'll be training pretty much every day in the lead up to the race, but not every day is going to be an intense training session. Some of the days are going to just be, easy bike rides, maybe some easy slow runs in there as well too, right? Just to make it so it's manageable, so I can keep my fatigue from creeping up and from becoming overwhelming. Recovery is just as important as training. I ran 25.2 miles this week. I got to run with some intensity for the first time in months, which felt great. Most of my running leading up to this block of training throughout my postseason and my preseason training blocks, most of that is slow running, or it's based on hills. So I haven't done a whole lot of fast running, because what I'm trying to do in the postseason and preseason is build up the tissue resilience and the leg strength, right? And leveraging swimming and biking more for building up fitness, because they're less demanding on the body than running with intensity is. Running at high speeds, at high effort levels is very demanding on our bodies compared with swimming or with biking. But now that I'm in my race build, I'm going to be including more running with some intensity, right, at higher speeds, higher effort levels, but still doing a lot of slow running as well. So most of the supporting runs I'm going to be doing are just doing those zone 2 kind of runs, right, really focused on form. Today was a great example of that. After I got out of the ocean, I went on a 10.5 mile run after, about 15 minutes of waiting around. And, my legs were heavy from doing a brick session on Saturday. I did a 38-mile bike ride plus a run off the bike on Saturday, so my legs were heavy on that run. It was hot out, the sun's beating down, it's humid, it's South Florida, it's always like this. It really slows you down, especially when you're trying to keep your heart rate low. And I just ground out the miles today, and it was a real focus on form and the ability to, keep great form while the fatigue sets in. That is what the Ironman is going to be all about. I know that come the run for the Ironman, I'm going to be tired, I'm going to be fatigued, and my ability to just keep going forward, keep the great form is what is going to get me to the finish line. So sessions like today were great practice. I had to show some resiliency. I found a new pool to use this afternoon too, so I swam in a few different pools this week even, right? Just doing all I can to get a session in every day. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. So as long as I'm feeling good, I'm feeling up to it, I'm going to keep pushing, just with making sure I'm not pushing too hard, pushing too much. Because again, the end goal is to get to November the 5th feeling as well prepared as I can be, but also feeling full of energy, with no fatigue, and ready to take on what's going to be a big challenge. So I'm happy to get the first week of training in the books. It's going to keep building up from here. Next week's going to be another big week of training, and I'm looking forward to it. This is something I've never done before. This is my first full distance Ironman. I've been training at a middle and long distance triathlon now for over 3 years, so I have a pretty good idea what I'm doing. I've got a pretty solid base. I'm not really new to most of this stuff. This is more about just extending the volume, doing more over distance work, and turning everything I've been working on for these last few years into a solid Ironman performance. And that's what I'm trying to do here, and I'm excited to document it and to show everybody just what I'm capable of, right? After going on this journey, it's been exciting for me, and I can't wait to see where it takes me and how it ends up.